We're pleased to welcome now the Attorney General for the great state of Mississippi, General Lynn Fitch. General, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, good morning. It's great to be here at the Neshoba County Fair with you. What an amazing morning already.
It's so awesome. And, you know, even though this isn't a statewide election year, really great attendance, isn't there?
Absolutely. People have come from all across the state to be here. It's exciting.
It's
the friendships, the relationships, you get to see one another. Sometimes you might not have seen the people in the year since the last Neshoba County Fair.
Truly does embody and personify Mississippi hospitality, I would say. Wouldn't you? I mean, it's incredible how nice and kind and welcoming everybody is, but that's the way we are in Mississippi.
That's it. That's a tapestry of who we are, the character of Mississippi. But it is definitely on display here with everybody together, having families and your children and your grandchildren here. It's just such a wholesome environment, and people are just enjoying the company with one another.
It's awesome. All right, so you were on the stage earlier. You delivered some remarks, as is customary, for you and others at the fair. What did you talk about today?
Well, I was so excited to talk about what's going on in the Attorney General's office. You know, I'm so blessed, Gerard. I have an amazing team that I get to work with. And we've been doing a lot, certainly, to protect and secure Mississippi, to go after online predators, child molesters, child exploitation, human traffickers, and the drug pushers. So we spent a lot of time with that, but one of the things I really wanted to visit with you about, because I think it's so exciting, we just did Operation Guardian Force.
Okay.
An amazing time to all come together, because just like we're talking about here, when everybody rallies together, it makes such a huge difference. So this is the first statewide operation we've ever done. We had over 400 law enforcement officers, our federal, our state, our local partners, my investigators and prosecutors leading the charge all together. We started on the coast. We ended up in DeSoto County, and we're able to go after these criminal actors, the ones that are going after our children, our young people, these drug dealers that are peddling poison to our children. We all see that. We know what's happening, and we know what's going on online. And so we had all of my teams that are the task force in the office. We had Internet Crimes Against Children, Human Trafficking Task Force, Cyber Fraud, and the Fentanyl Strike Force, because you're always going to have the component of the drugs. And then there's always a cyber element as well. So we started again on the coast into DeSoto, but here's the real important part. We were able to make 72 arrests. So those are some bad actors. They were pushing drugs. They were exploiting our young women, child exploitation, fentanyl use and distribution was part of the arrest charges. And then the most amazing part is we were able to rescue 29 victims.
It feels like, General, that children seem to comprise a larger component of the victims of these sorts of heinous crimes. Is that just because, as you said, of the cyber element? They know these kids are going to be online. It's easy to attract them, to trick them, to lure them into the kinds of crimes these people commit. It's just so sickening to see that children are the victims here.
No, you're absolutely right. That gives them the doorway open to these children, gives them the opportunity to really fish with these children, get them engaged. We see that far too often. And, you know, we've got a lawsuit right now where we're fighting to protect the laws that the legislature, and they've done an amazing job to make sure that parents approve these sites before these children go out. We need to protect them, and so there should always be parental guidance. We're going to continue to win that battle because our children's lives are at risk, and we see that in so many areas, like we're talking about with human trafficking or the child exploitation. They utilize this cyber opportunity to get there and take advantage of our children.
And it's a cat and mouse game. You guys implement technology and systems and processes and controls and resources, and then they want to up you, and you got to hop up and meet that challenge. I mean, it's constant, right?
Absolutely. The criminals are smart. I wish we could kind of lasso that synergy and get them to do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It would make a huge difference for us. But it was a great operation. We had, you know, the President Trump's team came down and observed our operation in action. I think that really showed them that we all work together in Mississippi. We had, again, all of our law enforcement. We had victim services providers there. Again, really showing how we support one another in our state. But at the same time that we say, hey, if you're a criminal here in Mississippi, we're going after you.
Is there a problem, General, in that the blue states, and I know you obviously have relationships with attorneys general in the blue states as well, that may be Democrats that think differently. They seem to be a little softer on these issues. Does that cause a problem for everybody, all states? I mean, because this is a networked issue that doesn't just exist within the borders of a specific state.
Well, you're right. We're so strong in the red states.
Yeah.
We are looking for ways to go after these criminals. We're asking our legislators to implement stronger laws. Let us prosecute them harsher. Let's give them day-for-day jail time. So you're seeing the red states do that more consistently. Not so much in the blue states. Now, we do work together in the sense if you see a trafficking ring coming through, we do try to acknowledge and help each other. The good thing in the southern part, we're pretty much all red states, so it helps us a lot to be able to share information, intelligence about these traffickers and about these young women.
Yeah. So did you announce, my understanding is, a new initiative today addressing human trafficking, fentanyl, and sex offenses?
We did. You know, just like you said, cyber is so important, and I think we have to be on the cutting edge. How do we get those tips and how do we report to law enforcement? So we've seen very specifically that there are a lot of people that they see human trafficking and they don't know how to report it. So this is called Simply Report.
Okay.
A website and an app, Gerard, so that if you see it, you can just send it and it comes straight to us. We'll get it immediately to the law enforcement. We're actually the first pilot program in the nation, and it's looked to make it go into a nationwide program. But we're excited about it because it's instant information. We can instantly get it to our law enforcement using AI in a positive way to figure out how do we prioritize all these tips so that it assists our law enforcement.
And honestly, law enforcement, your office, you rely to a great extent on information from civilians. I mean, they're on the ground, they're exposed, they're aware of what's going on. It's impossible to have law enforcement officers posted everywhere. That's not practical or feasible. And so to a great extent, you got to rely on tips and information you get just from the public in general, right?
We do, and it's this is a powerful tool to help people across our state.
Sense. Yeah.
And all Mississippians want to help. So again, the more resources we can put out there and make this readily accessible, then the more lives we can save. And you know, I've talked about this in the past. So many of these victims that we save, there's a drug abuse situation. We're almost going to find weapons. So it's a big approach to human trafficking. So we have to look at every angle when we do a rescue, and then how do we help that individual? And at the same time, how do we get that criminal who's now peddling drugs, who's got the weapons, who is, taking advantage of these victims?
We had, as you know, millions cross our border during the Biden administration. It seems to be virtually closed down. Have you seen, as a result of that, any change in what comes through your office? I mean, has there been sort of a decline in activity of this kind of illicit activity as a result of that?
Well, I think certainly to your point, the border's been closed, and that has helped tremendously.
Yeah.
Certainly that's kept the flow of drugs coming across from the cartels. It has really lessened that. And I think for us, we've seen it lessen to a degree because we're out there being very proactive in the state of Mississippi. Yep. I mean, we, several years ago started out with Be the Solution. And so as many partners as we've been able to add from the public side, the private side, that's made a huge difference because information is so powerful. But if they can get the information to us, then we can go out and look for those young girls. We can look for that criminal.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered if just the slowdown of that, of course, I'm not sure to what extent, even when the border was wide open, that was affecting Mississippi. It seems like it was more of an impact on the border states specifically, and then it kind of filters throughout the country. But hopefully that will cause some of this stuff to lighten up, that we'll see less incidents of it when we got fewer bad people. It's just amazing that the Democrats in this country seem to give deference to these people that come into our country, and they're here for one reason only, and that's to commit crime on American citizens.
Absolutely, and it is alarming. And I will tell you that so many of these victims we find, probably over 50% have been trafficked by a loved one, someone that they trusted, Gerard, whether it might be a parent, an uncle, or a boyfriend. So we feel like with them, we've got a opportunity to offer them hope and to really help them get moving, back into society without any shame or blame.
I know the first time you and I talked about that problem and you shared that specific detail, I was just shocked. I think most people are surprised to learn that a lot of this trafficking is being done by family members, the exploitation in particular, and it's just incredible that could happen. And probably makes it a little more difficult, I'm thinking, to identify, because you're generally not looking for a family member to be involved.
You're exactly right, because again, and they don't want to give up that they're a family member. But again, this whole team we've put together, whether it's, you know, the investigators, the prosecutors, the sexual assault nurses, our consultants, our advocates, now even some survivors who really are able to reach these other survivors or victims now to help them become survivors.
General, appreciate you coming on. Attorney General Lynn Fitch of Mississippi. Thanks, General.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're stepping aside for a break. The Element Wealth Studio, once again, over at Mississippi's Giant House Party, the Neshoba